Fleet program, I did ask for guidance from the Towns Association after our last month's meeting. And, a little disappointed on what I got for a response, but it is their official guidance called gifts and donations that they've been distributing. I actually seen this years back, that addressed this, everything from holiday bonuses to employees, to holiday parties, to donations to nonprofits, where their guidance here says that has to be authorized by the town electors. And it further goes on to say, if we're talking about, government to government, that we'd have to enter into an intergovernmental agreement. Well, that kind of goes a little bit counter to why they're doing this. They're managing it lock, stock, and barrel, and are asking for donations. Now, looking at, annual meeting minutes from years past, I'm talking even maybe 50 years ago, there was action at the annual meeting to give donations to the library. That's before there was a funding vehicle to pay for the library. For helping with the parade in the village, fireworks, cemeteries, all that's raised at the annual meeting. Matter of fact, they also had bounties on Fox, $2 a head. Okay, that was back 60 years ago to maybe 80 years ago. So these things could happen at the annual meeting. And it sounds like, the only one we really got that's sort of legal on this is the cemeteries, because the state statutes say directly that if a cemetery in our town goes under, it's ours. Okay, so that's kind of a no-brainer. But I would suggest that we not donate to that clean sweep until maybe we put that on next year's annual meeting agenda and let the, electors decide that. That's what it's saying. Did everybody read that? I mean,
That's
it's
how I read it as
pretty
well.
clear. Pretty clear.
What was the?
I want them,
What was the?
Well, yes,
I'll
also
still
subject
vote.
to this.
Kim, what was the contribution passed?
$200. We budgeted for it, it's already there,
It's
it's
budgeted.
designated for this, it's $200.
And this will differ from the requested donation to whoever does the anglers thing,
Amelia's in.
because,
They don't.
because we're not using taxpayer dollars for that.
That's correct.
But this is approved in the budget.
I know.
By the electors at the budget hearing.
That is true. It was approved as a line item in the annual budget. Electors did approve that. I think that fits that definition.
Is it something we should just look at though, just automatically put on the list for next year annual meeting? Like
We
just,
can,
just
but
if
We
that's,
can, but I think we need to go through with
The
what.
village donated $1,500, the town of Darien
no,
pays practically.
I'm not saying I don't
for
wanna donate any money or what we did, I'm just saying the legality of it is, you know.
Well,
and that's-
I wasn't aware it was a line item budget issue, because I'm not at the budget hearings.
That's not a line item, budget, James.
Someone just,
Well, what is it actually? What does it say? What is it part of?
I don't have the budget with me, but it's $200 for recycling and conservation. Which, would you rather have me dump my cyanide in the field in the back of my house? Or would you rather take it to Elkhorn and get rid of it?
People do both, even if they have an option.
True.
You know,
And
both kinds
this
of
clean
programs,
sweep, is it
unfortunately.
considered a nonprofit, or is it considered
It's
an
the
inter?
county, it's a county program,
It's a
open
government,
to
government
every
government.
single resident in the county.
And they probably have to pay a disposal.
Right. if it's tied to recycling and it was an approved budget item, then my opinion changes, because if it was already approved by electors,
Yeah, and I agree that, let's put it in a plan at the annual meeting, because then we're covering both of those.
yes.
I mean, there's no
So it's
way.
just
Or it'll also be at this year's budget hearing, which will also be approved
It's true.
by.
Okay, well, the motion last, month was to approve it, based on, or approving it conditional upon what we read here. Now we had the discussion, I think, to me it's appropriate, okay? And that's the discussion here.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, yeah, we could do it this way, we could do it that way, but this piece of paper here says we should do it at the annual meeting, so let's just do it at the annual meeting. Let's follow this, and that way we're good. It doesn't, none of it matters.
The budget hearing is an annual meeting where the electors approve what we spend, and it's already been approved and what we spend.
Right, all right, but what I think,
See the line item?
So what Kim is saying is approve it this year and
I
then,
know what Kim's saying, yeah.
yeah, I think the minutia we're dealing with here is on the detailed budget sheet that you have, does it directly say that? It probably doesn't, it says recycling and conservation. Okay, it doesn't directly say contribution to Walworth County for the Clean Sweep Program, year 2022, it doesn't say that.
We just make it a yearly thing, it's the same concept, but
And
at
we
least
have
we're just
been
going.
paying it for the last,
Well, I know, that we discussed that when we were deciding it, that last meeting.
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing it every year.
I think the 3 minutes are up.
several.
We're not both.
public comment.
But thank you.
We don't have a 3-minute limit.
Okay,
This is our only
so,
time
This is our only time to speak.
to talk.
yeah, let's, okay, Chad, you think let's not donate this year, let's take care of it?
No, I say let's donate this year because Attorney Mills is kind of seeming like that wasn't annual budget, what I'm saying for years to come, I would
Yes,
follow the
yeah.
guidelines of, you know, of what they
I'll
say to
second
do.
that.
And then we can still continue to donate, but we're just doing it the way
I
that
wish I
the
could find my budget.
Wisconsin Towns Association.
You okay
Can
with
you-
that? Obviously, we-
I-
Restate the motion so she can get it down for the minutes.
Do we need another motion? It's our last motion.
Well, we had more discussion.
Yes, because it was contingent upon,
This
Finding out.
interpretation of this,
So
The motion is to contribute $200
I would like to
as
make-
outlined in the budget.
I would like to make the motion to contribute the $200 still this year, but from, in future years, I'd like to try to see it put on the annual meeting so that all the electors can vote on it on a year-to-year basis.
Second.
On whatever donations.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Okay, discussion on hiring process of new chief. You said, I think I was up to 13, and I think you sent 6 today.
5 or 6.
So we're gonna end up with about 20, and when we discussed it at our last meeting, we kind of, a group discussion and decision was made that we're gonna plan on interviewing all of them for the, the initial 1 hour meeting, and then based on that, we are gonna probably shortlist to, again, a number we didn't decide yet, 3, 4, or 5, whatever, second interview.
I'm a little
I don't ever
concerned about
recall us saying that we were gonna
interview
interview
every
every
Well, that's
single
what I
applicant.
heard, but at that time, we only had 6.
I don't, I do remember us talking about trying to get as many
As many as
applicants as
we
we can
can.
into that pool and then going from there, but I don't
I
remember
think it
saying.
was discussed, I don't know if anything was ever agreed upon.
Okay,
No.
all right, well, that's the way I heard it
That
was. we're gonna
Could be a
probably-
little overwhelming. I
It would
mean, we
be.
still have 3 more weeks of applicants.
Mhm.
Are we really gonna schedule 30 hours of interviews?
Yes.
Plus a second round?
meet. privately,
Yeah, how are we gonna get enough
Sort them
calendar
out,
Yeah.
time?
and then just roll in like a top.
Well, then, what
Even
I just has a lot.
Yeah. then I think in, mid-month, we should have a meeting to go through what we have, to at least start saying, here's something we have to have in there. Okay? We have to start that.
Right. Right, yeah, I fully plan to look at our
Okay.
calendars tonight to start the process.
So, I'm hearing here that we're not getting interviewed.
Well,
Well, that-
that would be discussed at the meeting. but-
Well, no, what I'm getting at is, we're not gonna, today, start scheduling.
Everyone's getting.
No, no.
That's a-
Not gonna do that.
I am too, you are.
First, and review and prioritize the
Okay, so the action item here is that we're gonna, later on, we're gonna set a meeting here this month to have our first meeting.
And I did have a conversation with Supervisor Reyes, and I will print everybody copies of all the resumes, so everybody will have paper copies of each applicant's information prior to your special town board
But you see
meeting,
what
which will
really
be a closed session to review all these.
Okay,
I appreciate it. I think I have that problem already.
Don't even I know, that's what I was, I'm like, I don't want double over everything, so if you're gonna do it, so I'll wait.
Thank you.
okay, so we have a plan on that. Okay, new business, resolution 2022-08. It was in your packet, the only change on here, everybody re-upped here, except we have, a change on the plan commission, Bill is first year term, and Pete is off of that, but everybody else is basically the same here, so why don't you go ahead?
Okay, resolution 2022-8, resolution approving the town board appointments. Whereas the town board of the town of East Troy appoints various positions annually, and whereas appointments for 2022 positions are scheduled to take place, now therefore be it resolved that the following appointments for the town board of the town of East Troy are hereby approved for the 2022-2023 term. All appointments are annual unless otherwise determined by state statute or the town code. 1, Planning Commission, first year term, Bill Walker and Paul Seeley. Terms expire May 2025. Second year term, Rich Denhart. Term expires May 2027. Third year term, Bob Zelinski, Dave DeGray, Joel Cook, Jerry Gordon. Terms expire May 2023. Alternates, Rick Zess and Ben Smith. 2, Town Building Inspector, Wisconsin Building Inspections. 3, Park Committee, Michelle Reyes. 4, Library Representative, Christina Murphy. 5, EPA ESC Representative, Barbara Church. 6, Lakeville and Management District Representative, Greg Thomas. 7, Recycling Committee, John Murphy and Kim Buchanan. 8, Ruth Lake Memorial Park Representatives, Chad Wales and Kim Buchanan. 9, Weed Commissioner Assistant, Joe Karkowski and Todd Shield. 10, Emergency Government CEO, Chad Wales. 11, Smart Growth Representative, Joe Karkowski. 12, Potters Lake Management District Representative, Elizabeth Sanders. 13, Intergovernmental Cooperation Committee, Joe Karkowski. 14, Website Updates, Kim Buchanan, Juno, and Jennifer Olson. 15, Communications Committee, Michelle Reyes, Chair. Barbara Church, Leah Vitar, Grace Bird, and Danielle Skinnador. Approved this next day of May 2022.
Website updates, is that new, the website updates?
No, that's been there for a while. We added Jen, I think, last time we did this.
Yes,
You know,
right.
you working for the planning commission, Jeff?
I knew.
All right, we need a motion to approve resolution 2022-08.
I move that we approve the town of East Troy resolution number 2022-08 as presented, as read.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Michelle, second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, this is the clean one.
Is this about my property?
No.
What's the involved with it? Well, is that standard?
All right, wages for both launch attendants.
This is an item I added to the agenda after discussion with our interim chief, Podolsky. Had a hard time trying to find people who work Saturdays and Sundays in the summer. And the wages we're offering were not that high. Kathy was gonna get $16 an hour. Lisa was gonna get 14. Lisa's no longer coming back. And we were gonna start somebody at $12 an hour, like a first year person. However, you can go work at Gus's for $16 an hour.
Or
So-
Walmart.
Yeah, so we figure we should adjust those wages up. They only cover weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, holidays, which include Memorial Day, the 4th, and Labor Day, and then they're done. And we always have money left over in the budget for boat launch attendant hourly wages. So,
That comes out of the fees, like is that all a part of the
Yeah,
boat launch
yeah,
fees?
yeah,
And
it's-
it's generally been,
all the fees go back into the launch. So,
Like how much do we have left over usually?
usually a few $1,000s in hourly wages. So,
So, what are you proposing?
Because Kathy's been there since the dawn of time, a long time. Moving her, she was at 15 last year, and the woman is a fount of knowledge regarding conservation, everything. So moving her up to about $18 an hour, and then, maybe starting people at $15 an hour. And like I said, Lisa's not coming back, so Kathy would be at 18, and I think she'd kind of be like the main resource person down there,
Yeah.
and then 15,
Yeah, so Clay had, coming back, who used to, Montana.
Oh.
He used to be down there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Kim's husband's gonna help out as well.
yeah. But nobody wants to work every Saturday and Sunday in the summer. So, I mean, even Clay and Don are only gonna work like one shift a weekend.
So Kathy 18, the other starting new people 15, is Clay like in the middle, or you consider him starting? Because
He would be starting, cause he only did it for that one
2
very
years
brief
ago.
system,
I
yeah.
don't think he did it a whole season.
And even then, he only made like $9 an hour, cause that's what we paid starting people.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's basically 18 and 15.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you can work a lot of places for more than that, and, you know, and if you're working on weekends and such, but holidays, that's a big deal, so I mean, it makes sense to me.
Okay, we need a motion for that.
I make a motion that, we set the 2022 wages for boat launch attendants at $18 for our returning attendants and $15 an hour for new attendants.
I'll second.
All right, Chad, second discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? None. Okay, discussion, please, Troy. I did get proposals from 2 people we worked with. It's either in your packet or I emailed them to you. Both of the architects we worked with in the past, Zimmerman, Jack Bloom, was with the new town hall, and Keo Henry is the one that did the bathroom. What we asked for is just, architectural advisory services. Meeting with them, will get us on a straight and narrow on how, you know, where we're at and how to logically proceed here, including maybe even doing 1 story versus, you know, the upstairs offices. So we need to talk to architects, and I didn't wanna give it a definite number of hours, because we don't have any idea how many hours. It could be 1 hour, it could be 10, we don't know. So from Zimmerman, you'll
Would you
see.
think it would be more than 10?
Hours? No, I would think, probably, hour meeting, and then probably another hour of phone calls going back and forth, and those would be mostly to Todd or John or me, details, you know,
Are
like.
they gonna do drawings?
That's not planned now, but that's the advice that we're gonna request, because what we have, could be given out like we did the first time. We could actually do it that way, but being that it's 200, I think we wanna have something more in the lines of what we did with the bathrooms, okay? There they did plans, okay, and it's gotta be bid, it's over 25. But that's the advice we wanna get, is how to proceed logically on this. And again, nothing, you know, saying we gotta be done in a week or a month, it's a matter of getting them on board. So the proposals you see there, you'll see that, like with Zimmerman, the 3 people listed, you know, Jack Bloom was the principal, 170, and then architectural technician, administrative assistant, or with Kehoe, principal, okay, that'd be one of the 2, one was Bill Henry or Dan Kehoe, and Dan started most of this job, and then, architect, engineer 2 was the one we had to finish it. So then their rates there are listed, that's 225. So, I don't know, I mean, both of these are great people to work with. The firms are good. I kinda like Kehoe Henry a little bit more because they did pretty good on the bathroom, and they're more local, it's Milwaukee versus, you know, Elkhorn. And I do think that the type of project we're looking at, Keyway Henry probably does more of those than Zimmer, so I would recommend that we would, sign a contract with Keyway Henry, but I'm willing to see what you guys think.
They're more expensive on their hourly rate or my misreading,
They are,
by like quite a bit.
And this is
well,
included in,
principal.
this has to be included in the 200,000, but,
Oh,
No,
oh, why?
I have a
well,
point.
why not?
Oh,
I have a point. We have police facilities impact fees of $9,400 that have to be
That has to
used.
be used.
There's, they.
Just like your park impact fees have to be used.
So,
okay.
this gets us to the point of knowing how we want to proceed.
I'm sorry, Chad, I missed your
So
comment.
what you're saying, like with the parking, with the police department, so that can be used for like equipment or
No.
anything, it has to be?
It has to be used for, well, for the park, it can be used for
The mulch.
equipment.
Yes.
Like playground equipment, like benches, like that kind of
Mulch,
thing.
the mulch, the flowers, yeah.
Yeah, anything you do to improve.
Yes.
But what's the police department,
The
just
police
the building?
facilities has to be for planning, a brick and mortar.
So if we weren't planning on doing a building, we'd just leave that?
I would have to pay them back to all the people that paid an impact fee. They would have to be refunded.
Refunded.
Well, what about the, so we already paid for the carpet, obviously that was put in the offices.
That fell under the building project, that was different.
Right. But like if we were to do upgrades or something,
We put an extension on, and that's what we're, yeah.
It has to be more substantial than,
They can't, and the park impact fees cannot be used for mulch, it has to be for something concrete, like facilities.
Grills,
I-
has to
benches,
be a tangible
Amenities.
object.
Soccer goals, a baseball diamond, it has to be something,
The posted sign, I think, we used
Yeah. I
one
think
year
we did.
for the.
Where we put up the
Sign.
sign about, the sign.
so the mulch money comes out of DPW.
no, it comes out of park.
perks.
Park is a separate budget.
That 9100
But park
isn't,
Yeah, park impact fees is a separate
Yeah.
account that has to be used. Otherwise, I have to start writing checks to people.
that's what we collect on when people have a new bill. So, and that's a separate
Buys
line
about
item on
$5.
their building.
So by the impact fees would buy about 5 hours of consulting fees.
Somewhere in there. Yeah,
But
and
then
again,
once that runs out, then it goes towards about $200,000 budget if you're over that, right?
yeah,
I mean, anything over that, if it has to do with the building, has to do with the bill for the
the
200.
building is the actual bid cost to build it. And then if we decide to do something with plans, that would be taken away from it, really, but it'd be part of it.
Part of that 200.
Yeah, I believe so, and I guess we'd have to discuss, I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
You know, so. But anyway, again, these are,
Do you see a preference for Kilo over Henry?
only because, yeah, I thought they did pretty good on the bathrooms, okay? They are closer, and I do believe they do more projects of this type of scope than Zimmer, okay? They're both great, I mean, either one can do it. I did get kind of an indication from both of these gentlemen that, they're just as busy as the regular engineering firms and surveying firms, they're very busy. But we're not looking for a bunch of hours, this is not gonna be a problem for them to do. It's gonna be.
What hours did you calculate for?
$200, $250.
And you said how many hours?
5,000.
But we have 9,400 to use.
Yeah,
So-
that could possibly be part of what we discussed with Jim, and that part is, if we decide to have, architect do plans for that to bid it out, that may be a question on how, you know, one of them, we have electric equivalent 200, the other thing is the impact, we have to go for that, you know. But that's gonna be a further discussion, future discussion.
Impact fees can be treated differently than, taxpayer revenue that you've been given authority to spend.
I think the impact fees in the yard is
Correct.
total cost of the building that electric is for.
I'd have to give it more thought, but that's
Yeah.
where I'm leaning.
So anyway, like I said, I don't think anybody here worked with Zimmerman, you did, I did, Barb did. You did a little bit, but Zimmerman or the town hall, not too much. They're great, they're great. Hugh Henry, great, I actually, have projects with them, we've been around a long time too. My recommendation would be Hugh Henry, for the reasons I stated. I do know that likely we'll have a project architect, we probably won't have a principal, where Jack lists on his, he lists himself as project manager, well, he's a principal. And then you have architectural technician, so if we do Zimmerman, it will be Jack. If we do Kehoe Henry, it'll likely be the person we had here for the final walkthrough, I believe that architect. Likely. This guy knows code and knows, you know, how to take us forward, and so that's my recommendation to you.
Would, I have a question, if we have, because of proximity, would we have to, like, if they came here to meet with you,
Travel time.
we're paying for travel time?
Uh,
So you're gonna have a lot more travel time
You
from
would.
Milwaukee than you would from Elkhorn.
yeah, because when you go with hourly rates, and it's like, okay, every hour, push the button, okay? I leave the office, I get back to the office, that's what they do, okay? 10 minutes versus,
So if they're stuck in
30
traffic for
minutes.
2 hours because their road is closed because there's an accident, we're paying for that?
when we see that one, we probably question that.
But they don't break it down like that,
Well-
unfortunately.
I'll ask them to.
Well, what about all the construction going on between here and Milwaukee?
True, true, it's another reason to stay local.
Why can't you just get a contractor to do everything?
Get an architect. Got an architect.
We have to have a architect.
Yeah, well, I
Is that
wouldn't
a
feel,
law?
I wouldn't
Is that
feel
a law?
comfortable
Is that a
moving
law?
forward. I wouldn't feel comfortable moving forward. You have at least a meeting with them and say, here's what we got, here's what we wanna do. What's your advice on the best way to proceed?
Yeah, it all
It's
has,
your preference, it's not the law.
yeah, it all has to get presented to the state to get their stamp of approval to even move forward.
Yeah,
A drawing.
Jack Bloom told me he thought the county would be the only one looking at it. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
another question to ask, who's gonna review the plans?
Yeah.
You know, and then that would maybe drive higher
I haven't
bids.
seen them.
Contract?
I haven't seen anything.
I don't have, the other one's an email for you, it's just one. We didn't have anything in print from Zimmerman.
Which one do you have?
The state's involved in it being public building.
Pretty general.
Not that easy.
Basically, we pay an hourly rate for the guy we have here. That's it. Pretty simple.
And if they do the drawings.
That's a whole separate discussion and contract. Cause then it would be a contract.
The Kehoe's is, what's attached is their billing rate plus 10%.
That was for the
expenses.
expenses.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Reimbursement.
mentioning the drawings.
Yeah, no drawing yet, this is just consulting services. Advisory. Did you wanna see the second one? Did you print it?
I didn't print it, cause like I said, I printed out of ink. That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, I guess what you might need to do is, before you make a decision to go with Zimmerman, you might have to ask the, project coordinator whether it's gonna be himself coming out or him and an assistant, because once you start adding the assistant cost to his cost, it might exceed Kehoe's amount.
Sure. Well, I don't,
Well, the time, like on driving time that's a huge point. I mean,
yeah,
That alone,
It's much easier.
It adds an hour to a
drive
trip,
from
both ways.
Altogether.
well, it's probably,
Zimmerman's in Milwaukee, or I don't know where they're at, but I mean,
it's on
on
there.
any day of the week.
like I said, I'm recommending Kehoe, but I ain't hearing a good argument to go the other way.
My only argument would have been like pricing and stuff like that, but if you start adding in all that drive time, you're gonna be right up to that. I mean, you're gonna be real close to that. That was a great point, but.
And you're saying this is just architectural services, on the agenda it talks about bidding timeline. and
No, that
you
should have
don't
been on
bid
there.
the bidding as well,
No.
right? They manage that process? For
The
the
bidding
bathroom?
timeline will only be a discussion as far as if they think we have to, is there a better time?
The other question I had after the annual meeting is the 200,000 was authorized, but it wasn't budgeted this
Yes,
year.
it was.
50 to 95 was budgeted for the warm to cold, or cold to warm. whatever.
135, I think. It was, I don't have that sheet here.
35.
I think it was 90.
It started out as 50,
And
then
then
it bumped up
95.
to 95 since the budget
Plus 30.
meeting.
So
50 was for the cold stuff.
Where did the
He got
30
bid for
actually come
95.
from?
Oh, that's the, police security. Line item. That was in there too. So, yeah, but you're right, it's, the 200 isn't in that.
Budgeted for
one
this
year.
year.
Not in this year's budget.
Chief, do you have any design on that $9100 impact fee for the police department? Any need, are you looking to spend it on anything in particular?
You can't just spend it on anything you want. It can't go to equipment, it can't go for wages,
For authorized uses?
yeah.
Brick and mortar and studies to get there. Matter of fact, we used the impact fees, or that impact fees for the needs assessment for the. Okay, we're getting late here.
I offered to have a discussion with him as to what impact fees can or can't be spent on, in case he might not know.
I would appreciate that.
I have paperwork that I can show you.
Okay.
I have a whole file on it.
Not really familiar, so.
What's the urgency of this?
Well, I wanna get them locked in so we have them. If I wait a month, you may say we're too damn busy, so.
So I'll make a motion to use police impact fees up to $1,500 and hiring Kehoe Henry for architectural engineer consulting services for the, how do we call it, police garage?
Yep. Okay, we have a motion,
Second.
Barb Church second, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries, or opposed? None. Alright, I'll sign this and get this back to Kehoe Henry, and my cover of it is gonna state, I don't, okay, to me that 1,500 is internal, I'm not gonna tell him what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna be, you know, I'm not gonna tell him that. So I will sign it. Okay. Where we got it?
That's fine. Oh,
I'll probably hand carry that. in there.
Instead of a $1,500, you need to advise them at least of, a maximum hours?
We're gonna determine that. We call him, we keep him here as long as we want him. So that's gonna be in our control, totally. But I heard the motion is 1,500, that's an internal control for us to, we should get done
and
with
it
that.
could be revisited.
Could be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on here. BIL grant application assistance. Okay,
What does BIL?
BIL stands for Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, passed by U.S. Congress. Call it another stimulus deal, but it's basically aid, to the entire country, mostly for infrastructure. The amount given to Wisconsin, by the federal government, was $1.4 billion over 5 years. That is a new program and gives us our best shot at actually getting that job done down by, Dockside. What has to be done there is we have a culvert that is posted at 6 ton. It has lost, it's now got 3 foot of headroom I did an analysis of a 1967 picture I got from Maxine Huff, and it looks like it lost 1.8 feet of headroom in those 55 years.
That's accurate.
That's one part of the job. The other part of the job, there's a potential drainage issue between John Tyson and the yacht club. And then we also have to finish paving from this culvert replacement to the Beach Road intersection, all one project. The upside of getting the grant is 80% of it's paid for by the federal government. But, and this is through a program, the program's gonna be similar to the one that I actually managed for 23 years. And the problem is that bridge, that culvert is not a bridge by definition. But we're not gonna necessarily build a bridge there, but we are gonna build something that can take a truckload and can offer more access to the 30 people that live upstream of that culvert. So in order to do this, and I could prepare this grant application, but I don't feel secure doing that because most of the people that are gonna be reviewing this, I worked with before. And I don't know if that hurts our case or helps it. I do know when I was reviewing these grant applications, the ones that were done by consultants were usually given a little bit of priority because they were done perfectly with the I's and the T's and all that, okay? And the fancy stuff. That, when it comes to a committee, makes a difference. And Lynch has done a bunch of these, so has the other one, the contractor, consultant, Nels Collins. I did send this request of 3 of them, and Ayers refused to submit. However, they will probably end up in the top 3 for when the state does this election, if we get this. So all this is to provide, it says over here, to get the application submitted by June 3rd, but they're gonna also have site visits here. Of course, Tim Lynch is familiar with this area because he did the project with the storm sewer up to the north of Lindy's. So, Lynch, this is similar to this other one we were looking at. Lynch, got 2,500 plus he listed, a reimbursable of 100. And it tells you what you do in there. The other one was a simple email from Collins Engineers, and he estimated, you know, the E3, the E5, the E7 total. He came up with like $1,600, but no site visits, one virtual meeting, and he's not gonna do an estimate, or cost estimate is required, and you should have known that. So Lynch is the one I'm recommending. It's gotta be submitted by June 3rd. He's done a ton of these. It was 1,600 on Collins, and Lynch was 2,000. So 2,600, 2,500.
But if I understand you correctly, Lynch is knows the project already. Or knows
He's been here, plus he's gonna visit it, and
Yeah,
actually Todd and me and him will both be out there, because we have 3 unique things that are happening here that are perfect for this program. And like I said, when you take the 80% federal money, there's strings attached. You have to do it through the state process, which means it's gotta be to DOT standards, which does make it more expensive. But I do believe for this particular case, it's probably warranted anyway, because it's some tricky drainage down there.
I don't know how you can do this without a site visit.
I don't think so.
Well, I'll defend them a little bit, Mark Putzinger. They did the bridge inspection, so their firm